I want to hear Azriel's torture voice.
Oh, I know you do.
It better be his bedroom voice, too. So that's all I'm saying.
You know it is.
Tell me how you tracked her. I want to be like, tell me how you want it. The same voice, the quiet voice that had that had broken countless enemies. Break it, Azzy. Break it in half, baby.
Azzy.
Oh, sorry, I'm such a slut. Welcome back to the Book Breathing Bitch Queens podcast. I'm Sam.
And I'm Allie. And this week we are jumping into chapter 28. This chapter we leave, it's the last little bit in the human lands at the sister's house. We send the letter to the queens. And then we get home, see the memory from Rhys's perspective. I think, is this maybe the first thing we've seen from Rhys's perspective? Or one of them?
I think so.
Really
no, Ianthe.
Oh, right, the other
memory is the first one.
Yeah, but anyway, so we get that, and then we send a letter to Tamlin.
and feel like the weight of the world has lifted off of our shoulders, and we want to be a little free bitch.
Yes, and then we're like, let's party and take me out on the town. And Rhys is like, hell yeah. And then I think it's just at the end, Amren comes over and they have their little exchange. And then we're basically end the chapter right before we go out to dinner in chapter 29. And that whole chapter is basically just the dinner itself, I think.
Yes.
Which will be fun.
And it is so Throne of Glass coded.
It has 29 really feels like sitcom vibes to me. Kind of 28 does too, but it's a little more, a little different. But yeah. So,
I love the interaction between Nesta and Cassian at the beginning of this, because it is already so very much on point for who they are. That they're leaving, so they're all like, Cassian is leaving because Rhys and Feyre have come back from the Attor. Azriel has taken the Attor, and Cassian's like, cool, I'm gonna go hang out with my brother and torture a demon thing maybe, or just, I don't know, fuck off for a while, because I've been dealing with your bitch-ass sister. And so she's standing in the doorway to see him off, first off, which is like, okay. And he bows to her like a fucking smartass, and she gives him a vulgar gesture I hadn't realized she knew to make. And every time we think it's the jacking off motion. And then Cassian had merely laughed, his eyes sticking over Nesta's ice blue gown with predatory intent that, given her hiss of rage, he knew would set her spitting. And then he was gone, leaving my sister on the broad doorstep, her brown gold hair ruffled by the chill wind, stirred by his mighty wings. And so it's very sitcom, because he does this bow, she flips him off, he laughs at her, and then like flaps his wings, and I just imagine like completely like
yes.
Yeah. It's so very funny.
That part is very sitcom-y, and very kind of just like slapstick humor almost.
Well, and like almost like them fighting for the last word.
Yes. That's exactly what they're doing, I think.
Yes. He's like, you may have flipped me off, but not only did I laugh at you, but I messed up your fucking hair.
It also just feels symbolically like she left that interaction forever like has that kind of vibe of like foreshadowing. So which makes sense.
I had a fun question that doesn't matter, but we brought my sisters to the village to mail our letter, and I said, walked, flew, winnowed? How the fuck did you, what do you mean we brought
that
them?
was not my question about that, but I also had a question about this. But yeah. Well, and I was glad that she specified that they were glamored to be invisible. But then I'm like, if it's that easy to just become invisible, why aren't people doing this shit all the time?
Not only that, but like, why did you go with them at all? Did you not trust them to mail the letter?
Yeah, is it like weird supervision? Also,
Was Feyre like, you have to see my village. You have to see my you're gonna think it's so cute. And he's like, this is a fucking shithole. Have you seen Velaris?
He's like, no, please take me on a date.
Yeah, and he's like, no wonder you don't like you haven't been out to see my city. If this is what you fucking expect of a city.
Yeah, yeah. But also, I'm just like, do we just mail the queens a letter? We're just like,
yeah. Could you imagine if she passed her fucking her booty call hookup while she was in the village? Rhys is just out there like reading everybody's minds, and all of a sudden he gets a flash of fucking post-coital Feyre in a barn somewhere, and he's like, "Who the fuck is that guy?"
I feel like she does see him at some point. Am I crazy?
She sees him.
Oh, in Aquar.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
She sees him
in the last book?
In the last book, yeah, she sees him because he sees her and he gives her a weird look. Because I'm like, she doesn't see him in Fae form because he's with his new wife.
Oh, true.
Yeah, she sees him with his new wife, and she just like, and his wife looks like nervous about seeing her, and she's just like, I wish them well.
Before she decides to go into the mountain, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's funny. But
after we returned home, she's calling her sister's house home, by the way.
I will say that is kind of, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Thematically, it's interesting because of how the last chapter literally ended like 3 paragraphs ago. But I will say I do often call my apartment my house and my parents' house my house.
Sure.
So I feel like that's fine. But it is interesting.
Did you ever live in your parents' house? In the current one that they live in?
Yes.
Yeah, she's never lived in this house.
Oh, true.
I mean, for like a minute when Tamlin said, "Go, be free."
Yeah. Okay. That is actually a good case where that is a little weird.
But also, our goodbyes were quick because I knew Rhys wanted to get back to Velaris.
Is that weird?
I mean, it doesn't say because, but like, no, it's not weird, but it's like because he's in tune with her, and she like the way that they're in tune with each other already. She's like, I know he wants to get back. And so I made it quick. Right? She could have been like, I haven't seen my sisters in months. I fucking miss them. Like, I want, can we stay until lunch and then we'll go or whatever? But like, she's like, no, he wants to get back. He's got shit to do. He's anxious, whatever. And also in the grand scheme of it, I don't think she's as comfortable here as she would like to think she is.
No,
especially with the like the scene when Rhys finds her when she's sitting downstairs with her cute little cup of tea and her book with her feet up on the couch in front of a fireplace. Like, that's home.
Yeah, I wrote on that for that part, which is like basically next, that he ditched her so she could go and prove to him and herself that is her home, because she clearly just made herself at home. She was hungry. She decided to go get food of her own. I mean, she got it from New Orleans, Caradwyn, but like
she knows where to get it.
She knows where to get it, and she goes and sits and sets herself up and is chilling. Yeah, that's very much home. I will also say I think it shows that like she's clearly not that close to her sisters. Like, I think if this was Elaine came to visit and it was Nesta and Feyre, if Elaine was in Feyre's place, she'd be like, I want to stay with my sisters longer.
Yeah.
But Feyre's like, yeah, whatever. Like, I think she's also like not like annoyed, but it's just like they don't seem super close.
Well, I feel like she's never really felt like part of that unit, and even now, even more so of an outsider because of her change.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that that's part of the like narrative arc with the sisters, is that they go from strangers living together in the same roof to kind of like they're real family, but it's also like they're a newfound family. Like they've both changed into something that matches each other, where not only did they not match who they should be inside in the mortal realm, but they also didn't match each other.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. And yeah, it was just
it's like they love each other, but they would have never chosen each other for each other, which is like how I describe certain relationships in my family. Like, I love certain members of my family because we're related, but like if we weren't related, we would never cross paths. We would never do like hang out or be friends because we're just so not the same people, and so it's like if there was no blood ties, there would be nothing there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he like drops her, so they fly / winnow, right? So he's all
Yes.
cutesy flying her through the wall. And then they winnow, and then they get to the house, right? And she's like, Rhys left me in the foyer, huffing hot air into my frozen palms without so much as a goodbye. He just like, cool, bye, bitch.
Wait. No, he puts her down, grabs her hands, blows into them, and then just leaves.
No, she's huffing hot air into her palms.
I was like, that's very nice, but also that's
No, he
okay.
left. Rhys left me in the foyer, huffing hot air into my frozen palms, and he left without saying anything. He dropped her and pieced the fuck out.
Yeah, real.
And she's
Okay.
not even mad at it again. She's like, food in the mortal realm sucks dick. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go find my fucking girly
Yeah.
pops, and I'm gonna get me some cheese and wine or whatever the fuck she gets.
This very much, it does feel like it. This moment feels like when you get home from the vacation, you're just like, I just want to fucking sit and like
Mm-hmm.
eat and like, and then
Yeah.
and then she gets herself all set up and is chilling in her house.
Yeah, and then not an hour later, he finds me in the living room, my feet propped on the couch before the fire, a book in my lap, a cup of rose tea steaming on the low table before me. Yeah, that's a comfy ass bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said cute, super comfortable, and you wouldn't be like this at your sister's house. No way she would be
Mm-hmm.
taking her shoes off and throwing her feet on Nesta's couch.
No, yeah, and you get I feel like I get the impression she does this all the time, and that's why he finds her there instantly. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, she's always sitting there.
And when he gets there, she stands up and she scans him for injuries. Something
So
tight
mate
in my
behavior.
chest. Yeah, something tight in my chest eased when I found nothing amiss. Except for the blood on his shoes, but whatever.
Yeah, it's very they're getting more and more in tune.
Also, blue-black hair. That is again how we describe Dorian's hair is blue-black.
Well, yeah,
And Rune's hair, blue-black.
that's funny. Yeah, and what that people would lose their mind if she was like Rune Dannon, Crown Prince of Throne of Glassland, Adderlyn.
The Dusk Court, yeah.
The Dusk Court is Adderlyn. No, people would
All of
kill
it is.
themselves. People
All of it is. Have you seen the map theories?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen your map theories.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's other people who are on the
I've
same
seen
wavelength.
ones, yeah, that they're like it's like the climate's changed and this desert became a whatever and all that stuff.
Also, there's when we get to Miriam's story, there's a wonderful map theory about Miriam with the Throne of Glass map.
Yes, I think I do remember you talking about this at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Probably on an earlier episode, but
and also the marshes where they walk through in Throne of Glass, and she's like, you can feel that like there were people here, and like the souls are like something was trapped. There's an energy that's trapped in there. And then in Crescent City, they say that there was a whole group of fucking water folk who were just yeeted into Midgard.
That's right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, that's good. This part here, I mean, it's so very obvious, but I do love it, right? Where he's like, we learned what we needed to. I braced myself to be shut out, to be told it'd be taken care of. But Rhys added, it's up to you, Feyre, to decide how much of our method you want to know about, what you can handle. What we did to the Attor wasn't pretty. Which is also interesting because she doesn't actually see any of the fucking bullshit, but whatever.
I think she does. She just doesn't spend time describing it, actually.
I mean, she knows what they're going to do because he includes it in like the memory when he gives Azriel an instruction of, break his legs, shed his wings, and dump him off the coast of Hybern. I don't subscribe to the evil Rhys theory. Okay.
Yeah.
But this could be one of those moments that goes either way, right? Where in my head, I'm like, he sees her, he gets it, he knows that she was shut out of everything. And so he's like, hey, if you're going to work for me, like, you let me know how much you want to be involved. And it's very kind and whatever. But it also could be one of those moments where, like, somehow he's reading her mind because she's like, I brace myself to be shut out. And he's like, oh, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to make her think that she has freedoms. But
I think that, yeah.
I don't read it like that, but I do think, like, and even if he did somehow, I mean, she says her mental shields are up, right? So like he's not reading her brain every fucking second, but like he knows what she's been through and like knows that she was kept in the dark about everything. So I don't think it's manipulative. I think that he's trying to be honest with her and being like, I'm not, and I don't even think it's not trying to be like Tamlin. I think he's just doing what he would do.
Yeah, and maybe being careful with her to be like, I don't want to
Yeah.
traumatize you.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he probably feels nervous to be like judged and evaluated by her, probably.
I have a theory about that too. But also, there's a moment where he's like, I'll show you. Do you realize that she goes into his mind? He doesn't pull her in. Because she's like, I knew what he meant. I steadied myself, blocking out the murmuring fire and boots and lingering cold around my heart. Immediately, I was in that antechamber of his mind. Like, it's almost like she was like, okay, cool, hold on. Let me get into the space.
Yeah.
He didn't pull her in. And so it's like, yeah, no, that was her power that was like, okay, cool, I'm going to go walk into this space.
Yeah, and maybe it's Mabon, or maybe it's because she's also Damadi. So
yeah,
that is interesting.
And then his darkness flows through her. It'll flow through you again, babe.
Many times. Yeah, echoing up from an abyss of power so great it had no end and no beginning. That's how Aelin's magic is also described, right?
Yeah. Yep. Also, there's a point in Crescent City that's also talked about that too, but I can't remember when.
Oh, I have Azriel questions here too.
I want to hear Azriel's torture voice.
Oh, I know you do.
It better be his bedroom voice too. So that's all I'm saying.
You know it is.
Tell me how you tracked her. I want to be like, tell me how you want it. The same voice, the quiet voice that had broken countless enemies. Break it, Azzy. Break it in half, baby. Azzy. Oh, sorry, I'm such a slut.
First of all, I just like Rhys's inner monologue. You know, he's sort of letting her. I wonder how much he can shape this. Like, if he's just straight up putting her in his head, or if he's editing some thoughts and he let her see the part, not when she had winnowed and she was so mad at me. And like, is he strategically letting her see that he knows that he feels bad and whatever? Or what, did he cut out some thoughts right after that were like, my mate's mad at me, in like 5 minutes of fantasizing? Or is this how it was?
So that's part of my question that comes up later. But what I wrote for this was like, he's already putting her before his court. Right? That he's like, I have to pay them a visit soon, remind them who held their leash soon, but not today. Not when Feyre had winnowed and not when she was still pissed as hell at me. Like, he's putting her needs and like the things that he needs to do with her, right? He's like, I want to celebrate that she winnowed and I need to like formally apologize or make it up to her or whatever. And he's like, and I need to do that before I fucking go to this bullshit court to remind them who, like, of my power. It's secondary to her needs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm already wondering if there's some editing that's happening with his internal monologue here.
I mean, surely it's possible, maybe, but maybe she'd be able to tell because she's also Damadi.
I have questions about this knife, so if you have something before then.
My only thing, this is kind of with it, but it's kind of evidence that he did plan to use her as bait, because we had debated that last week about did he or did he not. This, it makes it seem like he did intend to do it. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Oh yeah, the runes. I was like, yeah, I have thoughts.
Okay, so Azriel's knife was out, balanced on his knee. Truth Teller, the name Truth Teller, stamped in silver Illyrian runes on his scabbard. Okay. I said, those are not Illyrian runes. Those are Daglin runes.
But that's what I was wondering.
And if they are, how can you read them, Rhys? Do you know that that's what it says, Truth Teller, on it? Or are you assuming that that's what it says because it actually says some shit like fucking Shadowborn, Starborn, Dusk Court, fucking something else on there? So that, okay.
Yeah.
I have the lineage. So Thea, her husband Fionn, are there using the cauldron to create these. They made these. They made
the sword and
they
the
made
knife.
Gwydion or Star Sword, and they made Truth Teller. Fionn carries the Star Sword, and his friend, who is named that I can't remember, but it's not a name it doesn't come up again, so far as I know, he carries Truth Teller. When he died, then Fionn got both. And then Thea and Peleus go and they're like, let's go hunt the stuff in the bog that the Daglin left, and basically set Fionn up to die in the bog. And then the Star Sword and the knife bust out of the water and come to her. And that's how she gets them.
Wait, and who's her husband?
Fionn, he's the king.
She set her husband up to die.
She set Peleus and her set her husband up to die because they didn't see eye to eye. So Fionn wanted his daughters he was nearing the end of his life, and Fionn wanted his daughters to be the High Lady of the Dusk Court. He didn't want Thea to, and Thea didn't want that. She wanted it for herself, and Peleus didn't agree with it either. So her and Peleus joined forces to basically get Fionn out of the situation. But he died in the bog, where you are preserved, where Nesta rose people from the dead. And Fionn is an Irish or Celtic mythology of a king who cannot die, who rises from the dead when people are at the greatest time of need.
Okay, and also, hold on, just really quick. Is that where Nesta got the mask? They did not have it, right? She found it and put it on there, or she went in there with the mask in her hand?
Nope, she went in there.
That's how they got the mask.
The mask found her, yeah.
So was Fionn just down there? That's interesting. Yeah, I could see like final battle. Fionn comes out of the bog with a legion of those
with an
fucking
army
things.
of the dead, yeah.
Or it was a Kelpie that was attacking her. Even an army of Kelpies.
Yeah.
and sorry,
who are also Nox, by the way. The description of a Kelpie is the exact same description as the Nock, which is in Jessica's big water fucking aquarium, because
that thing is Kelpie like?
Like yes, or it's whatever. There was it's either that one or there was the one that humped the glass like a frat boy.
Okay, gotcha. Mm-hmm. Also, who's the High King? Is that one of them, or that's just unrelated?
The High King is Fionn.
Okay, so they had not established. They established courts after that guy dies.
Yes.
Okay.
After Peleus kills Thea, because he kills her in Midgard. So they go through Midgard, use it, and because Regulus tricked them into thinking that he wasn't Asteri or Daglin or whatever, and so they go into Midgard and they have a war there. That's where she opens up the portal and meets Hel and meets her mate Adius, who is the Prince of Hell. And then Peleus kills Thea because Thea splits her power between her daughters. And so she doesn't have enough power to take on Peleus. So Peleus kills her on the battlefield in Midgard, and the daughters use the horn to open up a portal, and Selene is thrown back into Prythian, but Helena stays in Midgard. And Peleus forces Helena to marry him, and then they go and find Avalon, and she builds the caves of princes, and she buries Peleus there along with all of her Starborn bullshit power things, and hides all the shit. And then Selene is in Prythian, and she marries the son of the High Lord of the Night Court, and she buries all of her shit from the Dusk Court. She lets it rot and makes the prison, and then puts the Daglin in the prison along with the kernel of her power that Thea gave her. And that's what Bryce gets when she goes to Prythian.
Okay. So
Bryce has Thea's power through birth, right? That she was inherited that from birth. And then she gets Celine's power when she goes to the mountain, and then she pulls out Helena's power when she goes into the Cave of Princes in Avalon. So then she has the entirety of Thea's power. She collects all 3 kernels.
Okay, that's right.
And that's how she's able to wield the swords together, open up the void, kill the Daglin, wear the mask, do all the shit. Hunt wears the mask too, though.
It's crazy how I've read these books and you explained it very well, and I still was like barely hanging on. That was...
And they magic transfer when they fuck. And so some of her maid horn power goes into Hunt, and that's what allows him to wield the mask.
Okay. Also, okay, now this is a logistical question. So if Fionn was the High King, and they made courts after the High King, was there courts for just like 20 years before that all that shit happened, and then the Dust Court went away and became the prison? Or was it like they never really made a Dust Court because the courts had been barely established and it just immediately became the prison?
I don't know.
Okay. Seems like strange logistically.
I think they say something like, with Thea gone, her power is no longer in that land, and so it withers away. So I think they created... Oh fuck! I don't know. That's a good question.
Anyway, that whatever. That doesn't really matter for that.
I think they still created. I think they created them after Peleus died.
Oh.
Or no, not Peleus. Sorry, after Fionn died.
No,
but I don't know.
Okay. Well, okay. But yeah. So to me, I guess I was thinking like, well, yeah, I was thinking, do the Illyrians speak that language? And yeah, we have been over this a lot of times.
But the Daglin made, they created the Illyrians. So if it's
so I'm like, this is it's another tie to the Asteri.
That, I'm wondering if that is the language that's tattooed on Bryce. Because that's the thing. So the language that's tattooed on Bryce is not word marks, by the way. Found that out. That is the language of the Asteri. Because he says... The language on your...
is the language of the Asteri? Or
no, word marks is the language of the Cauldron. It's the language of Erd. The Cauldron was corrupted by the Daglin's power.
Okay.
The language on the back of Bryce's... on Bryce's back, the tattoo, the horn, that language is the language of the Asteri, because Regulus says, I could teach you all of our language and you can do whatever you wanted and go to whatever world you want and be a fucking amazing conquering bitch, right? He says, but that's my language. And then Amren says, why do you have the holy tongue tattooed on you? That's the language of the Book of Breathing. So the Book of Breathing, in my theory, is that the Book of Breathing is the book that the Asteri used to corrupt the Cauldron. And that's why it can nullify the Cauldron, because it's not Cauldron made. It's not Cauldron magic. That's Daglin Asteri magic.
Okay, that would make a lot of sense. Because I was thinking, like, because I remember, I think Rhys could read her tattoo, but couldn't understand her, and that's why he had to go in her mind. And then I was like, but are the Illyrians speaking that? And he speaks
because
Illyrian,
she's
and
not,
why can't they...
Yeah, because she's not speaking the language on her back. She's speaking the ancient Fey language, and she knows that because of her work and her studies. So that she's speaking the old language of the Fey, and that's how they communicate.
So, and
because Amren knows that language.
In that language?
No, this is not an Illyrian language. Oh, in the runes?
Yeah, like, do they
I'm sure
that all the time?
I'm sure
they call it Illyrian runes.
No, I think it's just supposed to be like, it's their old stuff. It's like, it's like Nordic runes. Nobody writes in Nordic runes anymore.
Okay. Yeah, because I was just thinking about like that with like, I was like, if that's their language, and then why can't Rhys understand it? And maybe it's the different. I remember that we always get confused, or I always get confused about which language is word marks.
But then I'm wondering if it's not because
speaking. Maybe
it's not even Illyrian or Daglin at all. Maybe it's word marks. Because it's Cauldron made by Thea and Fionn. Unless... Because it was never in the Illyrians. It's been handed down. Like, Celine had that sword. Had that knife.
Yeah, but he just perceives that it's Illyrian. So maybe they've co-opted those... Maybe they use word magic. Maybe that's what the siphons are. They're actually developed with, like, some kind of word magic.
Or maybe it was...
Shit.
Who knows? Maybe Azriel carved it in the side. Because we don't say what it is. He was like, this is my knife now. Topher says that he wants. Topher was like, the reason why Rhys is so pissed off at the end of Crescent City is not because Bryce has opened up a portal again. It's because he has been listening to Azriel for weeks on end bitch and cry about his knife. He's like, I want the opening of ACOTAR 6 to be Rhys being like, Azriel, go fucking do something and get over it. Like, I want him to be like, but I have like 7,000 daggers, but it's not the same. Nobody's telling me the truth, Rhys.
Yes. That's so funny, dude. Wait, has he read the bonus chapters?
Yeah.
Okay.
We read the Azriel and the Azriel bonus chapter, and then we read the Bryce, Nesta, Azriel through the tunnels bonus chapter.
Oh, yeah.
Where she calls Azriel a club rat, basically, which is hilarious because in the next chapter he's like, I'm down to go dancing, let's go. I'm like, you're fucking little club bitch.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I did think that the scene with Rhys, I think it has weird exposition that doesn't make sense for someone to be saying to themselves in their own head, which maybe could be evidence that he is giving Feyre a tour instead of letting her experience his head. But I think it's actually just a weird writing thing, to be honest. I just think
it's trying to give us it's trying to give us information. That's weird, but yeah,
like
the Cassian
thing
Azriel.
He's like, I had, they'd walked again eventually. That's not, it's just like, that's how you tell a story when you're telling someone else.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't say that to yourself in your own head. You would say, like, the looks on their face when I broke their legs was like, or you just picture it or something. Like, and so I found that scene just a little bit clunky, but that's all. But it is interesting information.
It is nice insight into Cassian and Azriel in a way that like doesn't necessarily feel like exposition, but definitely is. It's like people often made the mistake of assuming Cassian was the wilder one, the one that couldn't be tamed, but Cassian was all hot temper that could be used and forged and wielded. There was an icy rage in Azriel I had never been able to thaw. In the centuries I'd known him, he'd said little about his life, those years in his father's keep, locked down in darkness. Perhaps the Shadow Singer's gift had come to him then. Perhaps he taught himself the language of shadow and wind and stone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a really interesting, especially going into book 6. There's a really interesting look at Azriel as well.
Well, and like the shadow singing gift is also not just the language of shadow, but it's the language of shadow, wind, and stone.
Yeah, which is especially interesting after our whole discussion about language just now too. Yeah, that is interesting.
Well, and then if you think about Avalon looking like what Dusk Court probably looked like, it's shadow, mists, and stone.
Yeah.
And being able to walk through stone the way the Wraiths can do that, and Azriel trained them, like, I don't know, it just seems yeah.
Also, just we already passed it, but I thought it was interesting how Rhys, at the top of the page, top of 275, right? But Azriel had learned that small enemy force had infiltrated the north 2 days ago. My suspicions were confirmed. Either to get at Tamlin or at me, they wanted her. Maybe for their own experimenting. To me, I was wondering, he doesn't seem to think that they want her for her power?
I think that's what they would want to experiment with.
Oh, that's what you think he's meaning?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so here's the thing. The people who do experimentation is Valg, right? They make all the things in Throne of Glass, but also the Asteri do this as well because they
made the Illyrians.
They use Hunt's lightning to bring back the Harpy from the dead.
Oh yeah.
They also use
Hunt was the second round of experiments after Sophie, right?
After the Thunderbirds in general, yes. But
the Thunderbirds were prototype to Hunt.
Yes, but they were Hell's prototype to Hunt, not the Asteries.
That's right. We do know for sure 100% that the Asteri made the Illyrians, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
There's also a really interesting theory. I'll send it to you later, but it's about the female power of Illyrians. And because when the Daglin, who's living under was captured under the prison, she looks at Azriel and she calls him a foot soldier. And so, but speaks with Nesta and Bryce. And so there's a theory that like the Illyrians used to be a matriarchy and that shit went sideways.
That would make so much sense.
And that the reason why they are so very fucking chauvinistic now is to push back. But that maybe there's some evidence of it being a matriarchy because the blood rite is where they have to have their magic bound, their wings bound. It's a 7-day blood rite.
It's a period.
Yeah. Yeah. And they were saying like maybe it's something to honor like the women who fought for them before. They just don't remember it as that.
That's funny.
I'll find that TikTok and I'll send it to you because it was a really interesting theory.
I could see it being that way as well because maybe there's something in like women flying specifically, like I don't because
and they were saying like, what if when the Asteri rose up against the Daglin, that it was the women leadership who wanted to push back against that, and maybe some of the Illyrian men were not there, and when they lost that war, they blamed the women, or that all the women were fucking killed, that they went up against the Daglin in that war, knowing it was going to be a suicide mission, just like the Valkyrie did.
Yeah. Well, because I think either the wing clipping of the Illyrians becomes a side point that's just about like regular old patriarchy bullshit, or there's something more to it because also the only one of the presumably the only woman who didn't have her wings clipped, in theory, is Rhys's mom, right? The only and she seems to have weird amounts of power. Like she seems like she could easily have some interesting like extra powers, like all her shit about foresight about Feyre, although maybe that's just unrelated.
And they also say that like women can't wear the siphons, and that's because our assumption is because they don't have Illyrian magic. But what if they do have magic and that's why they can't use it, is because they're not allowed to have the siphons.
To channel it. Yeah. But yeah, I could see some shit. That is an interesting theory because I've always wondered that Rhys's mom has always seemed a little bit overpowered to me. Like, why does she have this? But it would make sense that she's the only one who was like left in their natural extra powered state.
Yep. Maybe clipping their wings is what clips their power too.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Sorry,
I was thinking about the wing clipping. No, it's okay. That is I'll have to look at that. I'm gonna watch like all 20 of the TikToks you sent me recently. Or the Instagram.
I sent you a bunch. Oh, on the Instagram.
Last, like, 3 months.
I sent you so many things on the Instagram.
Right. No, but I just like never look at them during the semester. But now I'm going to because I have.
Yes, please.
Just do nothing after this and read Echo Fort.
Right. So I'm on the next page. Right. That had been Azriel's task these days: monitor the situation with the Spring Court and prepare for our own attack on Hybern. But Tamlin had shut down his borders, sealed them so tight that even flying overhead at night was impossible. Any eyes and ears Azriel had once possessed in the court had gone deaf and blind. And then the Attor says, the king could help you keep her, consider sparing you if you worked with him. And I said, he just gave him the same offer that he's going to give Tamlin, or has already given Tamlin.
Yeah, we think he's already given Tamlin. And I wrote Hybern playing both sides.
Well, and this is the only thing that's a little sus, right? That Azriel's task is to monitor the situation in the Spring Court. Then she says, what is the situation in the Spring Court? And he says, nothing so far. Nothing yet. But you know how Tamlin can get. And that seems a little like...
And also, I was just wondering, I guess I had forgotten that Tamlin went into like full authoritarian lockdown.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, and Lucian does say later that he like went nuts, but he mostly goes nuts after he gets the letter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he hasn't really gone full nuts yet.
And that's when he also starts sending people out to find her.
Yeah. But anyway, I was just like, why is he sealing his borders up so tight? Maybe he's working with Hybern already then, and that's what that's
Yep.
about. But
Yep.
I just find it interesting that like, okay, how do they find out that they can't fly overhead at night? Did they try to? And like, why didn't they get caught? And like, I guess maybe Azriel could just get away if they did get caught.
Yeah.
But I was just like, what did that look like?
Well, like how what does that mean? Like is it like that he can't get through a warding? But I'm like, Azriel can shift basically into fucking shadows. He can't
Yeah.
fly over at night. That's
I was like,
intense.
what kind of magic is this? And why don't more people do it? You know, you'd
Mm-hmm.
think that the whole land would do this when they were under a threat of Hybern.
Yep.
Like, why wasn't Dawn and Day and Velaris doing this?
Yeah.
I don't know. And it also makes you wonder about like who the spies are that they had gone quiet. And I'm like, is that because they're actually they literally couldn't get a message, or because they just didn't what doing or just I don't know. So
Or they are fucking killed.
yeah,
Tamlin killed them.
yeah. It's
That they're too afraid that they can't get through. He went full on like East Berlin with them, and like no messages could get out anymore.
yeah. It just seems crazy, and also
And Alice is just living her best little life there, seeing all this shit.
yeah,
Keeping a little journal.
teaching her boys to do like their spelling and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just like what the fuck. Yeah. Anyway, I was just wondering about the lockdown.
I found it very interesting, right? So I push off the wall, break its legs, shred its wings, and dump it off on the coast of Hybern, see if it survives. The Attor began thrashing, begging. I paused by the door and said to it, I remember every moment of it. Be grateful I'm letting you live, for now. I hadn't let myself see the memories from under the mountain, of me, of the others, of what it had done to the human girl I'd given Amarantha in Feyre's place. I didn't let myself see what it had been like to beat Feyre, to torment and torture her. I might have splattered him on the wall. Okay. Is he not seeing these thoughts because he doesn't want to relive them and protecting himself? Is he not seeing these thoughts because he knows he's going to share this memory with Feyre, so he doesn't want her to relive them? Or is he hiding the version of himself that was under the mountain?
Probably a little bit of all of it.
Yeah.
And
also, right.
Evil Rhys theory runs, but yeah.
Well, and like, I didn't let myself see the memories from under the mountain of me, of the others. What others? Just the other people in general? What do you mean the others?
Yeah, of the others. ...
What does
that mean?
Yeah.
Huh. I do not know.
What happens under the mountain stays under the mountain, baby. Unless you become immortal.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's clearly what Feyre wishes could be true.
Yeah.
You sent him. Yeah, I don't know. That is interesting. I did look at that and think it was interesting.
I love that her first thought after seeing all of this, right? She says, what situation in the Spring Court? He says, none as of right now, but you know how far Tamlin can be driven to protect what he thinks is his. And then she relives him, ruining the room that one day.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, I should have sent more that day. And she snaps her mental shields up. She doesn't want to talk about it. So she says, thank you for telling me. And then her first thing, right? He's like, Feyre, I'm sorry about deceiving you earlier. And she's like, hold up, I gotta write a letter. Her first response to all of this is not her own safety. It's that she needs to protect this court against whatever Tamlin will do. And so she's like, I need to go send him a letter to tell him to fuck off.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Very high lady shit.
Yeah.
It is interesting the story she tells herself. Oh, this letting me into his mind, a peace offering. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that it isn't. It's just, it's kind of just an interesting way to think about it. It's not like what I would think is the first thing.
Did she ask Rhys to read the letter?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
But also I thought it was funny. He swiftly folded it in two and it vanished. And then he asked her, are you sure? Seems like he already sent it.
He's like, I put it in the cum closet for a minute. You sure you want me to send it?
I just imagine it like appears on Tamlin's desk and he like sent it away and he's like, you sure? Because Tamlin's like, he's about to walk in the room right now. Like,
so like not only that, but like I mean, okay, just for a minute of like a little a Tamlin apologist moment.
Mhm.
So this letter magically appears on his desk.
Well, maybe he just sent it by actual courier or something. Because it's if they're worded that tightly, he probably couldn't do that. He probably
Fair.
just went
Okay,
regular.
but he did just get a letter from his illiterate girlfriend.
Yes, and this is the case everyone makes, is that like Feyre is dumb. She can't write me
Yeah,
letters.
because and it also is the moment that Lucian is like, yeah, no, the letter sent him fucking off, and
Yeah.
that's when he started sending people out to find you, and that's when he went to Hybern and or agreed with Hybern or whatever the fuck.
Imagine doing the breakup in such a short letter. Like
She straight text messaged his ass.
Because like technically they haven't broken up officially, you know? This is the first communication. I
Yeah.
mean, I would have written a longer letter being like, this is
At least,
but
well, yeah, at least something that indicates that it was actually me. Hey, you locked me up in that house and I felt like I was drowning. I told you that a number of times. And
yeah.
like, clearly you and Ianthe have your own fucking shit going on. So good luck with that crazy bitch. Peace out, homeboy. I'm not coming home.
Yeah, I just feel like you would want to say more, but
This feels like it was written by Rhys.
yeah.
Like, no wonder Tamlin's like, oh, this isn't real. She would never just break up with me in 4 lines. 5 lines. Yeah. But the second that she gives it to him, she's like, oh, finally, I'm fucking free, and I don't need to feel guilt about wanting to bang this dude.
Mm-hmm. And you know, that puts a cap on like constantly the entire first book in ACOTAR. She's always talking about how she feels caged and caging language with Tamlin, and then with Rhys it's always liberated, and that's like a really culminating moment. And she's very optimistic. A city lay out there that I had barely observed or cared about. I wanted it. Life, people. I wanted to see it, feel its rush through my blood. No boundaries, no limits to what I might encounter or do. It's very like American Dream.
Yeah, and then she turns to Rhys and says, I'm nobody's pet.
Very full circle moment.
Well, yeah, she's like
yeah.
I remember what you said to me, and I believe it.
Yeah. It is also interesting to be empowered and to recite a man's line back to you in your moment of empowerment. I guess it's like true love or something, so. Beautiful.
A fucking patriarchy. Yeah.
Like Rhys, but down with the patriarchy. No, but yeah.
I don't. So when he's like, I did plan, like, for what it's worth, I did actually want to give you a day of rest. He's not giving her a day of rest, or is it just that she's like, no, tell me what the next plan is. Like, let's keep going.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then once she's been convinced that they can't do shit, she's like, well, let's hang out, bud.
Yeah. You told me the city was better seen at night. Are you all talk, or will you even bother to show me? And then he gets a fucking his little slutty fucking smile on, and he's like, fine, dinner tonight. Let's find out if you, favorite darling, are all talk, or if you'll allow a high lord of the night to take you out on the town. And I wrote date night, but then he brought all of his friends like a douche.
No, because he did the Christian thing, which is that I want to go out with the girl. And I don't want. We shouldn't be alone together. So
we need chaperones.
Yes.
Really, Azriel we know is the worst fucking chaperone. Cassian for sure is a fucked up chaperone. Moore already knows it's his mate, so she's like, "Get it, big R." And Amryn is so consumed in fucking blood she don't give a shit. Worst chaperones ever.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know. He's like, Cassian's been working for like 400 years as a buffer for Moore and Azriel. So like, maybe I'll bring my friends and I'll be a little buffer for her so she won't feel so intimidated. But yeah, but then he's like, you want to walk home with me? And she's like, fine.
No, she's like, actually, I feel like I'm dying, but I want to because I want to walk with you.
Well, that's the thing. So I would, she's like, drinking blood in the back of the restaurant with Amryn sounded better. And I'm like, is it because you're sore or is it because you don't want to be alone with Rhys yet?
No, I think she wanted to be alone with Rhys, and that's why she did it, even though it sounded so terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, I feel like he went and he was like getting ready and he was like, wait, I'm gonna be alone at dinner with Feyre. We've never like done that, but like we could do. Yeah. okay, maybe I'll call Azriel. Like, I feel like it was like that, like, you know, he got like nervous,
Mhm,
and he was like,
mhm.
I'll make it normal. It's no pressure.
Amryn is sus as fuck.
Yes.
This
Okay.
is so sus.
Um. Yeah. Yeah, I will say right before we get into all that, like, you know, it starts out with downstairs, Cassian and Mo were snipping at each other about what Cassian could fly. The scene that's being set is very like sitcom, cozy. This is the found
Mhm.
family. I feel like this chapter is the transition chapter from like Feyre's getting used to everything to like she's part of the team.
Yeah.
Especially with how this chapter ends, I think, where is this one she says, oh, it's the next chapter ends with I had no nightmares or something because yeah, I
Or
read that.
she
But
dreams of the night. She dreams of the Attor, but she didn't wake up.
yes, like she's still, it's like a full circle moment because she's having the nightmare but is fine, it can
Yeah.
deal. And this seems like part of that too, like their whole like she's comfortable in a literal house, but then she's also comfortable with them. And then yes, her and Az, but yes, I had so many questions about Amryn right here because what the hell.
So they take one look at her and they vanish into puffs of smoke. And Amryn's like, skittish little things.
Wallen, Caradwyn, yes.
And she's like, wraiths, I thought they were high fae. I love, this is my favorite line almost in this whole book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Half. Wraiths are nothing but shadow and mist, able to walk through walls, stone, you name it. I don't even know how those two were conceived. High fae will stick their cocks anywhere. It's the greatest ever.
It's such a classic line.
Also, she is wearing turquoise, cobalt, and white clothes. And I'm like, she's in a liminal space where she's still wearing the turquoise of spring.
Of Aelin.
Well, sure, but she's wearing the turquoise of spring and the cobalt of night because she's still in that in-between space.
Yeah, that's interesting. I also thought it was weird that Amryn's wearing rain cloud colored.
She's always wearing gray. She's always wearing gray.
But yeah, I just thought rain cloud colored is such a weird description that I was like, is there something to that? I just wrote a question mark next to it, but I was like, it is just gray, which seems to be her color. Gray and like with red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. But it's interesting.
Well, like, they make good spies. Why do you think they're now whispering in Azriel's ears that I'm here? She says, I thought they answered to Rhys. They answered to both, but they were trained by Azriel first. Interesting.
I had not remembered that at all until I read this tonight.
Mm-hmm. And then she says, are they spying on me? And she says, no. So Rhys told them time and again not to, but I don't think that Azriel will ever fully trust me.
That's what I was wondering, because there's a bunch of theories about Azriel not ever fully trusting Mor and like that whole thing, but this is, I feel like no one ever talks about this. What does that mean?
It also sounds like she needs this leash, right?
Amryn does?
Yes, because listen, right? I don't think that he'll ever fully trust me, so they're reporting on my movements, and with good reason. Why? Why not? I'd be disappointed if Rhysand Spy Master didn't keep tabs on me, even go against the orders to do so. You know when, like, it's like when people are... It's like when when you're being held accountable by something else, and that keeps you in line, because if you're just left to your own devices, you will fuck up. That, like... Yeah. She's kind of like, no, I know I have this thing in me that would be a fucking monster. And so knowing that Azriel will never fully trust me because there's something inherent in me that wants to just devour the fucking world. And I know that he keeps tabs on me. That keeps me in line.
Yeah, it's that I can't have chips in the house. But Amryn, yeah.
Yeah, but it's very strange that he will never, and like, maybe that's just Azriel in general. Like, maybe that's sort of
maybe
his personality.
To Mor as well. Because of the
like maybe that's just part of his disposition to like trust is a very hard earned thing with him, and that he's just like, with power comes great responsibility, and Amryn's got a lot of it, so I just got to make sure, like, we don't really know the extent of her powers, so I'm just never gonna really trust her.
You think he does it to Rhys?
Maybe.
What about Feyre when she becomes full High Lady?
No, I think like I think he unquestionably trusts her. I think that he trusts Rhys, but he challenges Rhys. I think he questions Rhys.
Do you think he does it to Cassian? No.
Maybe
not Rhys and Cassian because they like grew up together, and so it's like that kind of thing.
But I think that he has enough of like a rapport, and like there's a loyalty between them. Like it's not just loyalty to the High Lord. I think that they have a loyalty between the three of them as like brothers, and as a shared history and as shared goals that they seem like they work more together. Like, yes, Rhys can pull the High Lord card and overrule both of them, but I think for the most part, those are the only two, maybe not the only two, because Mor and Amren can as well, and Feyre later. But I think that I think Azriel and Cassian are in a unique position to be able to be like, bro, this how you want to play this kind of a thing.
Yeah. Which is interesting because they're the 4th and the 5th. Because Mor's the 2nd,
yes.
Amren's the 3rd. It's so low down the chain, but then
yeah.
But I guess that's kind of the balance, is that they have less actual authority, but then they can do that is interesting. But I was like, what is going on here? It also explains what you had been wondering in a previous episode about why they're so weird around Amren, and so that makes sense too. And then we get the tithe mention.
Yes. And that's a holdover of the Daglin, which makes you think that during that war that perhaps the Night Court or Northern Fae were not on the side of the Daglin, and that's why it was easier to get rid of those things, and the Southern Fae, Spring Court, fought on the side of the Daglin against the Daglin Fae wars, and that's why there's stronger holdovers of Daglin traditions and rituals.
Yeah.
Which again and again and again puts Tamlin and his ancestry clearly on the side of fucking evil.
Yeah.
Because they fought with Hybern in the first war. They sided, I mean, not in this next war in the next book. Like Tamlin goes against him, but he was allied with Hybern. And theoretically, his ancestors could have been sided with the Daglin. And so it's like constantly the Spring Court is making the bad decision.
Which is also interesting if he really is related to Aelin. Because he really seems like it.
Not a dreamer, though, that's for sure. Yeah.
And then the little interaction about, the necklace.
The necklace, yeah.
It's just funny.
But Rhys kept looking at it because he gave it to me 200 years ago. He was probably surprised to see it again and wondered why I'd given it to you. Likely worried why I might have given it to you. And then Feyre's kind of annoyed. She's like, "You're welcome, by the way," and just leaves her room. So very good.
It's a funny little flourish. Oh, I will also say, I don't know. I guess maybe it's fine. I'm being a little picky bitch. At the top of 280, she says, "The Court of Dreams is founded on 3 things: to defend, to honor, and to cherish." And I just went, what? It's cringe to me. And also, what is to cherish? Isn't that the same as honoring? Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, it's one thing if you just were elaborating and saying, but she makes it seem like these are the 3 things we picked out. And that seems weird. And I hope it's not really true and she's just kind of talking. I don't know, certain things like that, that's like didactic. That's like, it just gives me like an ick, because it's like, you're too perfect.
Yeah.
Which is actually some of the reason I don't love Bryce as much, is because she just seems like she has this great morality that kind of just is like, not as earned. I mean, people can just be moral, sure. But like, I've always just like, I guess she's ultra moral. I don't know. For some reason, her morality always seemed a little bit like not match. Like, I don't know. That's what it kind of seems like here. But does shit like that annoy you or no?
Sometimes. It didn't here, but sometimes it does.
Yeah.
It does feel like she's reciting the code.
Yeah, and then I was like, the cherishing. I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
That's the same as honor.
And defending. To cherish something, you love it and you defend it.
Yeah. So anyway, whatever. So next week do we have any last thoughts about 28?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's like a little chapter that we somehow managed to talk a long time for. I mean, it's really interesting Azriel implications and other stuff, but it's like a little transition chapter. And then in 29 next week we will talk about the date and I think the whole thing is just them going
and it
and
is
walking back from it.
so Throne of Glass coded. It is insane.
Yes, I'm excited to hear what you mean by that exactly. Because
Yes.
I get those vibes, but I don't know specifically what you're.
I got specifics.
Okay,
I
cool.
got footnotes, babe.
Okay.
Okay. So, to the stars who listen, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.